We begin now with this breaking news, the death of North Korean leader Kim Jong-il. NBC's chief foreign affairs correspondent Andrea Mitchell is joining us now with details on this. Hey, Andrea, good morning.
Well, good morning. And although North Korea's dictator had been ailing for years, his death was sudden, taking his people, the U.S., and North Korea's neighbors by surprise. President Obama called South Korea's president at midnight to signal America's strong support. North Korea did, as you say, fire several short-range missiles as well, and the world is watching for possible instability during the transition of power to Kim's little-known and little-prepared younger son. Early Monday in North Korea, a tearful state TV announcer revealed Kim Jong-il had died on Saturday while traveling by train on, quote, a field guidance tour. State media later broadcast these pictures of North Koreans weeping in the streets. In South Korea, people gathered in public places to watch coverage of Kim's death. Meanwhile, South Korean President Lee Myung-bak convened an emergency national security meeting, asking military officials to stay on alert. Overnight, President Obama called President Lee to offer his support. The White House also released a statement saying, "We remain committed to stability on the Korean peninsula and to the freedom and security of our allies." Kim's North Korea was isolated and unpredictable, and often seemed more like a cult than a country. At times bizarre, but also dangerous, impoverishing and enslaving his own people, while arming himself with nuclear weapons and threatening to annihilate his neighbors. It was easy to poke fun at the portly dictator with his bouffant hairstyle, dark glasses, and high heels. He was rumored to be a cognac-guzzling fan of Hollywood, fast cars, and fine foods, though myths easily flourish when so little is really known. Diplomats who dealt with him described Kim as shrewd and calculating, well-practiced at the use of threats and force to win concessions and aid, and successfully fending off U.S. efforts to rein in his nuclear weapons program. In 2000, I accompanied then-Secretary of State Madeleine Albright on her visit to North Korea, the first ever by an American official. When asked if Kim could be trusted, Albright replied,
"I just can assure you that these glasses that I have on are not rose-colored."
In 2009, when two American journalists, Laura Ling and Yuna Lee, were arrested and charged with illegally entering North Korea, former President Bill Clinton traveled to the North to meet with Kim personally, securing the journalists' release. Although Kim Jong-il called his people sunflowers of loyalty, they suffered terribly. Hundreds of thousands dying of starvation, a network of brutal prison camps housing those who questioned his rule or tried to escape from it. He inherited the job in 1994 from his father, Kim Il-sung, the founder of North Korea, who, though dead, remains eternally president to his people. As Kim Jong-il's health began to fail, his features ravaged by at least one stroke in 2008, he groomed his younger son, Kim Jong-un, to take over. The young Kim's rise was accompanied by a spate of provocations against the South. A patrol boat was torpedoed. An island was shelled near the border. Pyongyang also revealed a large uranium enrichment facility, perhaps to prop up a son who would appear to have few obvious leadership qualities. From a father often dismissed as mad, but likely to be remembered as a master manipulator. U.S. diplomats were in fact in Beijing today to meet with North Korean counterparts, part of a plan to give the North food aid and to shortly announce the resumption of nuclear disarmament talks after a 3-year break. There was in fact hope that Pyongyang would finally suspend its uranium enrichment program. Now all of that is on hold, and there are concerns that the North will try to provoke another incident while this new leader or even the military try to take over.
Well, let's talk about that first of all, Andrea, because we heard this word about at least one short-range missile being fired, this report. Also, Asian markets plunged this morning on the news, and also South Korea's military went on high alert. So what is the risk of greater instability in the region, at least in the short term?
I think there is tremendous risk, not only short-term but long-term, because this is a young, untested leader. The military is going to try to weigh in and have its way, have its say with this young man. He is not prepared by all accounts. Very little is known about him, but he is young, and he's only had a couple of years being groomed for this. And North Korea has always used force and the threats of force to try to show its strength when it is weakest. And right now is a very, very troubling time, and it is clear that South Korea and Japan, as well as the United States, are going to be on alert.
Well, we were looking at videotape now showing just how young this son, the successor, the great successor is. Is it possible that there will be a power struggle in North Korea?
I think there is the possibility of that, because the military has long viewed him with suspicion. There were several sons. This was the personal choice of the leader of his father. But there is no indication that he has been able, in these short years, to get any kind of respect from the military. He was immediately promoted to 4-star status a few years ago in the aftermath of the 2008 stroke, where his father realized how ill he was. He was only 69, and as we say, this was a surprise, even though you could see from his physical stature shrinking that he was quite ill. The other possibility here, of course, is that you're going to see a resumption and expansion of the uranium enrichment program rather than what had been hoped was finally going to be some agreement.
So is there a balancing act this morning for the president and how President Obama and how he reacts then to this news, given all of these issues you just pointed out?
Yes, I think it's very clear that they're not going to show any kind of military concern. They're not going to do anything, obviously, to go on alert. That is for South Korea and the immediate neighbors to do. Of course, one concern would be economic, would be refugees coming not only to South Korea but also into China. China is going to be the main influence here, as it always has been. When it chooses to, China can be a huge force for calm in the region, and China is now going to be the one that all of the neighbors as well as the United States turns to exert some control on this transition in North Korea.
We'll watch and see what China also does. Andrea Mitchell, thank you so much.